Okay, so now let's try another time series. So load the example time series. We saw this one in the previous video, which gave the closing stock price by day. So we've got that listed up here. So let's save that as a time series. So we'll go time series 2. That's the value of time series. This example data frame, select the second column. Hit enter, and let's plot that. Right, so this should look familiar from the last video. Now, this series seems to maybe have a bit of a trend, right? So let's try fitting with a Holt model, because you see, well, if I zoom in especially, see the stock tends to shows some decrease here, then it rises up and then seems to decrease again. So we're forecasting in this area. There seems to be some trends. So let's try using a Holt model and fit that to the data. So let's create an object for our Holt model. So we'll call it example forecasts, and that gets the value. Again, we'll use that Holt Winters function. Now this time we'll put in time series 2. Now in this case only parameter gamma is false, right? Because now we have a parameter beta for the trend. So hit enter. Now you fit your model, and let's print that. So here you've got your alpha and beta. So remember, the larger the value indicates how much weight is placed on recent values. So your beta here, which is the component for the trend part of the time series, is at about 0.5. So and the alpha level is higher. So that indicates there's more weight on the recent values of the time series. So to specifically extract the forecast values, remember, let's call it example forecast values. And remember, we're going to take that fitted component of our model, so example forecasts, select fitted. And remember, just like last time, we're just going to take that first column. So you could print that, and you can see these are the forecasted values for this stock time series. So again, if say we wanted to calculate our mean square error, call it, let's create an object for errors, and we'll take the difference between our time series and our forecast values, and let's again calculate the squared errors. Then if I take the sum of those squared errors divided by 28, right? Because if I look at example forecast values, I have 28 values right here. I get a mean square error of 1.573. So, just as in the first case, we can create a plot of our forecasts. So now we type plot example forecasts. And now you have in black the original data series, and then the fitted Holt model in red. And remember, after you fit that model, you could extract the sum of squared errors and then divide that by 28. You should get the mean square error we calculated before. And we do. And remember, again, the whole point here is that we'd like to forecast into the next time period. So if we want to forecast the stock price on day 31, it's just the last value of our fitted Holt model. So that's going to be example forecast values, select entry 28. So we'd predict the stock price on day 31 to close at 33.1. Now, if we use that forecast package, we can again forecast further into the future, right? So let's create a new object Holt forecasts new, and that gets the value. Remember, I'm using that forecast function, and then I input my already fitted model, which was called example forecasts. And let's do 5 points into the future again. Hit enter, and then print that object. Right, so here we have our 5 forecasts in the first column here. So this will give you the predicted closing stock prices, as well as the 80% and 95% confidence bound. So if you wanted to print that, you could type plot Holt forecasts new, and let's take a look. So this is our original time series here, and now you have the predicted stock price closing on the next 5 days, as well as the 80 and 95% confidence bounds. And now this would help you answer that question right from the beginning. When we looked at the time series, it looked like at first it seemed to decrease and then increased, and then the time series started to go back down, and then it seemed like it was maybe wanted to head back up, but it's difficult to tell. So when you forecast with the Holt model, it does seem like there is a tendency for the prices to go upward. But again, it's slight, and you'd have to interpret that, with respect to your confidence bounds here. There's definitely a lot of room within those bounds for the price to decline.